A little over a week ago, I made a video asking you guys to send in anonymous questions for a completely anonymous Q&A. As I said in that video, I think this would be super fun because as much as I love Q&As, sometimes when I send in personal questions to other YouTubers, there are sometimes questions that I want to ask, but I don't want to be that person to ask, or I don't want my name associated with it. Not because it's hate, but because it might be too personal. I just thought if you have anything that you want to anonymously ask me, now is the time, and I received over 40 questions. I'm so excited to answer them. I got back from New York City yesterday evening, so I haven't had any time yet to edit and upload my travel diary vlogs or any other videos for this week, but I am consistent and I am accountable, so today's video is going to be me answering these anonymously sent questions. Thank you to everyone who sent in a question, and if you want me to do another video like this, then all you have to do is send a question over to my Tumblr. It's linked down below, or if you just have a question that you want to ask without me knowing who asked it, feel free to send it over there as well. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments if you like this video, because that helps me determine if I should make more like this. Be sure to leave a like as well to show me that you did like this video, because it does help me as a creator. And last but not least, do not forget to subscribe. I'm trying to hit 10,000 subscribers by the new year, and I know that we can do it as long as you hit that red button. I switched up my background tonight. I just wanted a cozy little corner in a different spot in my room to film. I used to film my Q&As in this corner, but it looked a lot different back then. Now it's pretty messy, so I put my old comforter that I just washed behind me in my spinny chair, which is now covered by this comforter. I love this comforter. It's a size twin bed though, so I had this in my dorm room. Does anybody care that I had this in my dorm room? And then when I moved back home, I have a queen bed here, so it doesn't fit, but IKEA no longer made this pattern in a queen size, so it's here. It's another blanket. Anyway, I have a list of all of the questions on my laptop from my Tumblr, and since I received a lot, we're just gonna get right on into them, starting with the first one received to the very last one. Here we go. The first question sent in is, what's the point of life? I'm really confused. I love my life, but I also feel like at the end of the day, everything is really pointless. No, I'm not suicidal, but it's a question that I've really been concerned with lately, because when you think about it, anything that I do or aspire to be will all just amount to nothing since we all die in the end. How does one find motivation when one thinks like that? Wow, we are starting off deep, but I can say that I relate to these thoughts a lot. Well, the first time that I told somebody, actually my therapist, about this, because she was trying to tell me years ago how things that you do are important. I know that everything seems pointless, but like there is some value in it, and my therapist told me to watch the movie Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. So that is my first answer to your question, is to watch this movie, because I think it highlights how even if one realizes that all of this is pointless, it all matters too, and both of those ends of the spectrum live in harmony. I took it down for this video, but I also do, here it is. I have this quote that I kind of live by. It says, although you are very small and your kind have existed in the universe for only a short time, you are an important part of something very large and very beautiful. Yes, we are small. Yes, at the end of the day, life seems kind of pointless, and you might think that it doesn't matter because in the end, we all end up dead. But it's important in the sense that it matters when you're here. And it's really hard to kind of balance these thoughts, because I have them too. I don't even know if this was helpful, but I agree. Like, at the end of the day, you're right. None of this really matters, but it matters in the moment when we are here, and it's to make most of it while you can before it's gone. If anybody has a different or similar way of explaining this that's a bit more clear, feel free to comment that down below, but that's my take on that question. The second question is also kind of deep. I'm so happy that everyone is delving into some thicker content. Somebody else asks, do you believe in God? I don't believe that there's an old man in a robe that's sitting up in the clouds of heaven, causing the earth to rain when he cries, or causing thunderstorms when he's angry, or whatever my mom told me as a kid for the reason of the elements. I don't believe in that type of God. I believe there is a higher power of some sort, and when you look at every single religion, most religions have a specific higher power, whether that is Jesus or God within Christianity, or gods and goddesses within Buddhism and Hinduism, some sort of super being that has more control than humans do. I was raised Christian, so the child in me remembers believing in God, and then as an adolescent I labeled myself agnostic because I didn't know. On a simple level, being agnostic means that you don't believe in God, but you don't deny the existence either. You're kind of in this in-between, and that's where I stood. Like, I just don't know, and I think as humans it's impossible to really know. But at this point, I definitely believe that there is something bigger than us out there, wherever there may be, that has more control than humans do, as a higher power, but I don't believe in the God that I was raised to believe, if that makes sense. Next question. Do you ever feel like maybe you share too much? Don't get me wrong, I love that you share so much and are so open, but aren't you ever afraid that family members or friends friends or just people from your college see things that you would normally never share with them, and that they know all this stuff about you and you maybe don't know anything about them. This is something I'm just always curious about when seeing YouTubers really open up about hard things in their lives. That's a really good question. I think I progressively just started sharing more and more stuff on my platforms as the years have gone by and as my audience grew. A lot of the topics that I discuss I think are very important to discuss, and it's easier to say when I'm by myself, and it might be easier to comprehend when you are watching it on a screen versus me telling you in person. I kind of live by the rule though that if somebody watches one of my videos and learns something about me, that it is because of their choice of watching the video, and that if they didn't, I don't know, it's like a selfish thing to do because I'm putting it out there and anyone could click on it. The only time I really questioned if I was sharing too much was the first time I ever mentioned anything regarding mental health, and I'm so glad that I did, not only because of the feedback that I received, but also just because of the knowledge that not many people or influencers online talk about this stuff, and it's really important, and that is why there's a stigma attached to so much mental health related themes, because nobody wants to discuss it. But I think most of my family doesn't watch my videos. They're just not my target audience, or they're older, they're just not this in-depth within YouTube to really watch my content, especially because they know me in person. I usually don't worry that I share too much because this is my outlet. Any advice on trusting people more and not being afraid to get into a relationship or a new friendship because you think you're just going to get hurt or thinking I'm better off alone? Love you, Makayla. This question was received before my recent video went up called I'm Working on Becoming a Better Person. It definitely touches on a couple topics within your questions, so I recommend watching that as well to help. Okay, here's my take on it. You can't judge somebody based on something that somebody else did. Does that make sense? Like, unless you have a specific reason not to trust this person. The only experience that I have with this really is with past relationships, and I've kind of realized that I cannot compare a current relationship to a past relationship because they're just two completely different variables in my life. It's impossible to judge somebody based on something that somebody else did or said without the other person's knowledge. That sounded confusing. But you're not better off alone unless that person is toxic and you're feeling hurt or unsafe. But I have those dark thoughts too, and it's just you have to talk yourself out of it, as hard as that is. Next question. What advice would you give someone who feels like they're stuck in life? I'm in college studying nursing, and I feel like with all the courses that I have taken, I still have nothing to show for it yet. One of my favorite poems growing up was written by Shel Silverstein about a little girl that said she could eat an entire whale. She said she could. She said she would, so she started right at the tail. And 84 years later or something in the poem, that little girl ate the entire whale. I don't know why, but that poem just came into my head reading your question, and I think it's important to realize that even if you don't see it yet, this is all progress and it's going to pay off in the end. But going into nursing is such a great career path, especially that day when you have patients and you see personally, like on a one-to-one level, the effect that you are going to have on somebody someday. I just think that's really going to hit you. This is worth it. All my hard work paid off because I was able to affect somebody's life like this, so good for you. Do you think women should be allowed to wear whatever they want regardless of society's views? Fuck yeah. I made this video 2-3 years ago called Slut Shaming. Link it up here, down below. Go watch it. It explains everything about this question and my view on it. We are dressing for ourselves and nobody else. So it's self-expression, it's creativity, it's what we're comfortable in. As long as somebody is not causing direct harm unto either themselves or somebody else, I don't see an issue with it. If anything, just more power to you. Like, you do you. What's your favorite genre of book or movie? Is there anything that you've read or watched that inspired you? My favorite genre of book has to be nonfiction right now. I love a good memoir. I think it's because I'm very familiar and comfortable writing nonfiction and memoir styled pieces that I love reading other people's. It's just so cool that these are real, raw, personal narratives of somebody's life, and that's amazing to me. My favorite genre of movie is romantic comedy because they make me feel happy. I say this in almost every single Q&A, but The Glass Castle really inspired me. Sylvia Plath, Virginia Woolf. The next question relates to what I just answered, which is which books do you feel people have to read at least once in their life? Something considered to be a classic American novel. There are a lot of choices in this, but I think it's super important as an intellect and a student of life, not even if you're like in school currently, to have read something that a high school may have required you to read. Even though these books are typically required reading growing up, there's a reason why schools want you to read this. Personally, the books that have touched me the most were To Kill a Mockingbird and Great Gatsby, as well as To the Lighthouse by Virginia Woolf. These were 3 books that I had to read in high school, and I definitely think that everybody has to read something that a high school would require you to read at least once, because they're just amazing novels, amazing stories. Lord of the Flies, like, they're classics. So whatever that means to you, if there's a book considered to be like a classic novel, then read it. That is going to be it for the first part of this Q&A. I hope that you enjoyed. Don't forget to check in on Sunday to watch part 2 in case I have not gotten to your question yet. Even if you didn't send in a question, don't forget to watch on Sunday because I skimmed the rest of the questions and they're super juicy and they're super great. I cannot wait to answer them. But let me know your thoughts down below, and if you want to see more videos like this. Thank you so much for sending in your questions. As I said before, please comment down below if you'd like to see more of these. I need to go study for my final tomorrow. With all that being said though, I hope you have an amazing night. Don't forget to turn on the bell for notifications, subscribe to my channel, like the video, comment down below, and I'll see you very, very soon on Sunday.